What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here in the OddsShopper channel, coming to you with a Thursday night football edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Let's talk Jets and Patriots, shall we? Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Very thankfully, in the premium Discord, ended up on Ray McLeod. Over receiving yards, completely smashed it yet again. And Devonta Smith, +1 anytime touchdown. That was useful. Not as good as first touchdown, which my guy Ben Raza here at Tails ended up firing up, and I did not tail that one. I'm still overseas checking out Bet365, but yeah, still was a really nice hit for anybody who took advantage of that from Ben or myself. However, 0-2 there on the like and lock from the last video. We could probably find some room for improvement. So let's do that here on Thursday Night Football with a game that has a 38.5 total and a lot of disgusting stuff. But you know what's not disgusting? Tails. Because we got MLB, we got NFL, 50% off first week and month using code Lindy50, not and month, either one. You can pick one of the two, week or month. If you use promo code Lindy50, you jump in and get my daily picks. You get the premium Discord, you get everything you'll want and more from me. Well, you're just going to know whenever a bet goes live because that's how this works. That's the idea of Tails. Oh, woo. Going to be awesome, my friends. I don't think we have the pen from that first beginning of the word of that second part. But anywho, let's get ourselves to the play, shall we? That is down at the link below if you want to come kick it with me. But without further ado, I got to redeem myself here on a little showtime. Let's get to the picks. Oh, this is going to be a fast one. Friends that I have in this one are as disgusting. So I at least want to give you a smorgasbord of options here in the lean category. Again, the way that I work things here, lean like lock. Lean, that's generally something that is two or three plays that I'm looking at potentially playing, but they're not on the card yet. They're not plays as of right now. Likes, those are things I already bet. Those are usually around a half unit. And the locks, they're generally around a full unit. This one's actually a little bit less than that because I don't really want to be firing up a full unit on these two specific plays, but 0.8 units there if you want to really get all high and tidy about it. But -110 just sitting there is a lovely little number. Just do kind of your adjustments, 0.55. However you end up structuring it, try to just get, that even payout number that you're doing for your bankroll. But let's get to the plays. New England, 6.5-point dogs taking on the Jets. And working through a lot of these first couple games, I do think the New England defense is a lot better than other people do. Well, I think it's hard to not look at that first game, at least have some takeaways where, hey, Patriots, they have some skill position players on that side of the ball. I'm a big Christian Gonzalez stan, quack, shout out Ducks. But I look at the Patriots, overtime loss, 23-20 there. They still covered 3.5. I've now found ways to be able to invest in this defense. We were on the under of the team total of Cincinnati in week 1. They put up all 10 points at home. And boy, if they looked rough, they probably should have won that Kansas City game, though. So Joe Burrow 0-2. Pretty much brutality. But shout out the Patriots. 181 yards passing that they're allowing against them. And that is with Cincinnati in the first round. And then Geno Smith next up. Yeah, there's some interesting stuff. Again, that's not completely factually accurate because 181. Oh, yeah, because overtime ends up getting removed in my sheet. All right, that's exactly what it was. I was going to say, because I know it was more than that. Seattle had 312 passing yards throughout that game, 46 on the ground. Cincinnati, 70 on the ground. They have been stuffing dudes at the line of scrimmage. And now it's a short week. We go Sunday to Thursday, and that's going to be massively important when we get to the like category for why I'm kind of bullish on somebody. He might actually be the preferred play between the two after the fact, but the bets are already in. It's already covered. If you want to be firing it up differently, you are more than allowed because, again, it's about the information and the process. But we'll start with the lean here. I don't have any play on this game in terms of the Jets. There are 6s available. If you gave me 6 and you were to drop this into -105 territory, or if this somehow gets to 5.5, I think we could be looking at some Jets come from behind here. Aaron Rodgers looked a little bit better here last time out. Nice come from behind little victory. Kind of got a little bit sweaty against Tennessee there in week 2, but back-to-back road starts, back-to-back opportunities there for the Jets coming away 1-1 against San Francisco, taking a loss. Nobody's going to besmirch that one, even though, obviously, my Minnesota Vikings. 49ers is great stuff. What a win. Not going to get my hopes up, but Jets fans have their hopes up, and now Aaron Rodgers goes back to the scene of the crime from last year, where he played all of one series before tearing that Achilles. So I think the Jets here at -6 is going to be loud. It's going to be ruckus. And that defense is still the premier part of this football team. However, the under of 38.5 is still in play here. Talked about how good the New England defense has been. despite what we saw there in week one. You got a little bit of a dinged up Sauce Gardner there in that spot, but this Jets defense is going to be just fine going forward. They forced a lot of really bad decisions from Will Levis there in that last one to be able to close out that game. And then Jacoby Brissett on the other side, and probably a healthy dose of Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson in that backfield. 38.5. The clock's going to be moving. It's just going to be moving here incessantly. These passing props are sitting so low. Sub 180 for Jacoby Brissett, sub 220 for Aaron Rodgers, because both these teams want to get it done a little bit on the ground. However, squeaky wheel narrative potentially in the lean category. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's been kind of uninvolved to start off this season. In fact, 17 targets, only 10 receptions, though, 10 total catches. Hasn't exceeded 61 yards. So he hasn't hit the 60-yard mark here. Will he get some red zone opportunities, or is it just going to be a Breece Hall fest? Well, we'll talk about that here in the light category. I think this is where we want to be looking a little bit more at Braylon Allen. For those who don't know, he is a 20-year-old rookie from the University of Wisconsin. And I don't know how you feel, but motoring, what's your price tonight? It's a really good song, but this is a really good running back, I think. And Breece Hall, I'm an Iowa State guy. Breece Hall is special. He's hashtag different at the running back position. And I think after week one with his usage, you would think, oh man, he's playing in garbage time against San Francisco. There's no way that he wouldn't be like your first pick off the board, knowing what we know about Christian McCaffrey in your fantasy drafts now. However, insert fourth quarter usage for Braylon Allen. And he becomes the youngest player to score from scrimmage in like 100 years in the NFL. Thought that was a fun little tidbit to throw in there, but I'm going to throw in 20.5 rushing yards. This kid is just, I mean, he's pretty special, I think. 20 years old, 5.1 yards per tote, just 8 carries, but we saw 7 for him last week. And now you have a short week. Do you really want to be utilizing Breece Hall in a massive capacity where he's on the field 85% of the time? Something tells me you really don't. So Braylon Allen, that is going to be where we go here with the over of 20.5 rushing yards. It is sitting currently at minus 115 at BetMGM best available line. And hey, if you want to get, if any of these leans were to happen to show up on my betting card, you could find out over at Tails. 50% off first week and month. Code Lindy50. That becomes $10 for your first week, $25 for your first month. You get the daily picks. You get the premium Discord where you have a bunch of sharp people chatting, hanging out. So come kick it. And let's go to kind of an unlikely hero for us here this time out. I think we're going to see more snaps going forward. 39 snaps per game so far. Only a 58% snap percentage for Demario Douglas. However, the time is coming for him. You have KJ Osborne, Tyquan Thornton, who I can't believe is on the field for 52% of it. And yes, Jalen Pope. They did end up ramping his snaps up in that week 2 spot, just like they said they were. However, Demario Douglas is still, I think, going to be the guy who on the inside can win you some matchups. And considering this team just really does not want to blitz in the New York Jets on the other side, I think you're going to have some extra time for Jacoby Brissett to line it up to the guys who can possibly avoid some of the more difficult matchups on the field. Now, Sauce Gardner, I think he'll be playing primarily outside guys. I don't think this will be a Demario Douglas spot in any way, shape, or form. But I was kind of contemplating how the rest of these players on the Jets side are going to be matching up. And I do think we're going to probably see DJ Reed out on a KJ Osborne. We'll probably see, some interesting spots for Demario Douglas out of the slot, be able to go after the linebacking core, to be able to get him in decent enough spots, because they're going to probably have to throw the football on the road, 6.5-point dogs, as much as they don't want to. I think this is a great opportunity to invest in the over of 21.5 receiving yards for Demario Douglas, minus 110 at BetMGM. My favorite play from this one, I repeat, not a full unit play for me. I kind of straddled the middle between where the half unit like would be and where the lock would be. On other shows, I might go like lock, but again, this is prime time. I want to get you the plays, and I think both of these, while they seem thin, I think they're both positive EV and a great way to get your card going. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Thursday Night Football. Hit that like button. I mean, this game, there's not a lot to like here. However, I think these props are pretty darn decent. I would be leaning towards the Jets. I'd be leaning towards the under if you only have access to those, but won't be plays for me more than likely unless something changes either in the odds, because it's all about price and probability at the end of the day. Just like, again, that's going to be what I'm covering in the MLB and NFL there at Tails. So hit that like button for me on the way out. Let's get in that win column here on some primetime football. For producer Jacob, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL streets for Jets Patriots.